The Supreme Court just reshaped the landscape of American economic regulation, and the effects will outlast any single presidency. In a pair of rulings handed down Monday, the High Court gave the executive branch sweeping new authority to fire commissioners at major independent federal agencies, while separately affirming the political independence of the Federal Reserve. The decisions mark a turning point for bodies like the Federal Trade Commission, the Federal Communications Commission, and the Securities and Exchange Commission, agencies that have, for decades, been anchored by independent commissioners who served as checks and balances across changing administrations. That era is now effectively over. The ruling that drew the most immediate relief was the one protecting Lisa Cook, a governor of the Federal Reserve. President Trump had sought to fire her, basing the move on what the court described as unsubstantiated allegations of mortgage fraud, allegations that have not resulted in any legal charges. The 5-4 majority said that Trump's approach denied Cook any meaningful opportunity to formally challenge those accusations. And crucially, the court reaffirmed that monetary policy should not be subject to political interference, a principle it traced back to the first and second banks of the United States. For Kevin Warsh, the newly installed Fed chair, that ruling offers some breathing room. Warsh struck a hawkish tone on interest rates at his first press conference, a notable stance given that he was nominated by a president who has openly called for lower rates. A more secure shield of political independence means Warsh may have a freer hand in setting policy. Markets are watching closely. According to the CME Group's FedWatch tool, the odds of Fed policymakers raising rates at their September meeting stand at roughly 63%. But the relief for the Fed comes alongside a much broader shift in power. The companion ruling expanded presidential control over the dozens of other federal regulatory agencies that Americans rely on to referee everything from broadband competition to securities markets. These bodies were designed to operate with some insulation from the White House, precisely so that long-term regulatory frameworks could survive political transitions. That insulation is now largely gone. And even the Fed's victory may be incomplete. The court did not clearly spell out the full legal criteria that would allow Trump to fire Cook, nor did it weigh in on the specific allegations against her. That leaves the door open for renewed legal action against her down the road. The deeper concern, raised by observers who have spent years watching these agencies operate, is what this means for the economy. When regulatory policy swings unpredictably from one administration to the next, without independent commissioners to provide continuity, businesses face a much harder time making long-term strategic decisions. Investment slows. Planning horizons shrink. The policy whiplash, in other words, has real economic costs. This is Dealbook. Whatever your politics, the implications of Monday's rulings will be felt in boardrooms and regulatory offices for years to come.